Forehands tennis enthusiasts. Some of you might have coaching experience, some might have no coaching experience. You'll learn that coaching a bunch of kids is very different than playing and even teaching private lessons. We're so grateful to have Lori and Garrett here from Utah Tennis. They've been gracious enough to do this for the last few years, several years for us, a couple times a year. And they're amazing. They got lots of good drill ideas, lots of good tips for coaching, for babysitting a bunch of kids, keeping them having fun time, and coming back for more tennis. So, without any further ado, Lori and Garrett from Utah Tennis, let's hear it for them.
Yay! Oh, we're giving that to her.
All right, hi you guys, I'm Lori. First thing I'm going to teach you about teaching is you are all looking into the sun and I'm not. That's a problem. So I should come over here as the instructor.
Come right here on the court where you can hear us all.
So now there's 2 of us looking in the sun instead of 50 people. Okay, so when you're working with the kids, remember that, to not have them look into the sun while you're teaching. Today, how many of you guys were here when we did it at Sun Pro, whenever that was? Oh, I'm so happy there's not a lot of repeats. So a few things, we're repeating some stuff, but that's all right. I'm sure you don't have it memorized. What I want to teach you today and what Garrett and I are going to work on with you is how to build the building blocks of a lesson. When you teach, and when you teach a lot, the hardest thing is to step on the court and then just be like, all right, I've got these kids for an hour and a half, what am I gonna do? You know, and you're like, okay, well, why don't you do forehands and I'll do backhands and you do serves, and we're all bored before we even start. So what we wanna do is give you the building blocks of what a lesson should look like, the structure, and we may be talking a little bit more than I would want you talking during a lesson, but we're gonna do every example of things about 2-3 minutes and then move on. When you teach, I would never do any drill for more than 5 minutes, okay? The kids have a short attention span, you have a short attention span. Keep it moving and change everything quickly. So today we're gonna start with the first thing. When you have all the kids come out, instead of doing what we call static stretching, where everybody stands in a circle and we bend and stuff, that's actually not the best way to stretch these days. It's better to get everybody moving. If you're just standing here stretching, an expression they use is like, it's like a spaghetti, that you're just putting a piece of uncooked spaghetti and then breaking it. So instead of that, you want to loosen the spaghetti up, okay? So that's what we're going to start with. Every lesson we start with what we call the ABCs, which stands for agility, balance, and coordination. So we're going to go through maybe 7 or 8 ABCs, just to give you guys an idea of how to start a class. And a lot of times we'll be partnering throughout the night. When I say toe to toe, you're gonna find somebody and put your toe next to them, and that's how I know you're partnered up, okay? With kids, on the first toe to toe, let them find their best friend. And then after that, we mix it up. And based on the way we give you reasons of how to choose your partner, the kids know that they are just choosing someone because they happen to be wearing the same shirt or the same color pants. So that everyone's mixing all the time and you're not having to like choose who the kid wants to play with, okay? Do you want to start with an A, B, or C?
Sure. So let me get 10 volunteers right over here. Come on over, don't be shy. Come. First 10. Everybody come over this way. Brackets outside the blue court. Okay, what do I need? I need 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe one more. Okay, turn to face me, alright? The first one we're going to play, we're thinking of little kids, we're thinking of getting started, okay? First game we're going to play is freeze tag, okay? We're playing inside the entire blue court, okay? You're my tagger, ready, go! Your tag, stay frozen, stay frozen.
Okay, get me bro! Bro!
Great job, Olivia. You got this. Hey, big court, right? Now we're going to condense it. Now you have to be in the singles line. You're my tagger. Go. In the singles line, double further out. Okay, now stop. Everybody in the service box now. You're my tagger.
Let's go, Olivia. Tag him.
And then our next progression would be in the smaller one. Was everybody engaged in that whole process? Nobody's in line, correct? Everyone's moving. Okay, that's a good start. Thank you, guys.
All right, it's also an agility drill because they're stopping and starting. One thing you don't do in tennis is run laps because there's never, like tennis is never just a straight line. So if we're gonna do anything that involves moving and running, we want it to be quick left and right, okay? The next one we're gonna do is just find a line. Everybody find any line. Spread out. You could be behind me, you could be on both sides of the court.
All 3 courts, too.
Mostly go here so you guys can hear me. Everyone got a line? Okay, very easy. All you're gonna do is jump back and forth over the line, forward and back. As the instructor, I always speak out loud the instructions and I also show the instructions, okay? So, and if we're doing it, the instructor does it with everybody. So here we go, 15 seconds forward and back unless you're in a boot. Here we go. Stop. What's the variation on that? Someone said 1 foot. Okay, pick a foot and go. Oh, that's hard on my awkward foot. Okay, other foot. Stop. What's the variation? Side to side. Everybody go. Side to side. Good. What's the variation? Splits. Excellent. Splits. Go. All right. Good job. So you'll see that I started with one thing and I asked the students to pick something else so that everyone feels like they've got a say in what we're doing. Everyone gets a chance to be creative and then everyone's engaged. So that's a good agility. Next one we would do would be a balance. Okay. Can you think of something balance? Yeah, okay, just stand, and I'm not gonna get the balls out, but if you stand on one leg and you have a ball on the ground, everybody has to lean over, pick up the ball, and come back up. Everybody do the same foot 3 times without putting the other foot down if you can. Good, switch to the other foot. And you'll find that one foot's better than the other, right? So then you can work on that. What's another balance thing that you could do? Anyone ideas? What's that? Yoga pose? All right, pick a pose. All right, tree pose. Everybody tree pose. Other foot. Excellent. Anyone else have another balance?
Jump from line to line. Balance.
Yeah, so if I were gonna jump from line to line, I would make sure I'd say jump and hold. So everyone find a line or just find anyone, jump, hold, and jump back. All right, good job. All right, the next one is coordination. And again, I would start each class with 1 agility, 1 balance, 1 coordination. Hold on 1 second.
Ages and abilities for pain and injury in muscles, ligaments, joints, and bones. For more information, go to intermountsportsmed.org.
Okay, toe to toe, find a partner. Everybody find a partner, and then send 1 person in your partnership to get a ball.
Already have one?
All right, so here we go. Tennis is a sport of complex coordination. Your eyes are watching the ball, your feet are moving to the ball, and your arms getting ready. So there's a whole lot going on at the same time. So anytime you can work with the kids to work on their complex coordination, they're gonna become better tennis players. So we're gonna start with 1 ball in each partner's left hand. Just watch me first and then you'll do it yourself. You're gonna first toss to your right hand, then toss straight ahead. And then keep it going. Okay, you got it? All right, everybody try it with their partner. Start in the left, toss to the right. I'm gonna have no voice. With the, yeah, yeah. Yep, so you're gonna toss straight to this hand and she tosses straight to that hand. There you go. And then toss to your own hand. So then toss to your own hand. There you go. Yeah, so okay, start on your left. Reverse direction. Go the other way. See if you can go the other way. Go ahead and hold up. All right, can everybody hear me? All right, thanks. So there's one of me, and there's probably 60 of you, but you're all doing something. Okay, so pretty much everything today, and this will be a little out of normal because there's 60 of you and one of me, but no, the idea is that no one's waiting in line ever, okay? So that you wonder why there's a sword fight going on with rackets is when you have a line of 10 kids. Of course the back 5 kids are gonna be bored and doing the things they shouldn't be, okay? So everything we're doing is to keep everybody engaged. We're gonna do one more complex coordination. This one's my favorite. Garrett's gonna do it with me. And if you have a ball, that's fine because a lot of times, especially during COVID, we were trying not to have people touching hands. So if we have a ball, even if we can get 2 balls, Garrett and I will demonstrate. Garrett and I each have a ball in our hand, and we're gonna do patty cake. So we're gonna go that. So when I say 1, 2, 3, Garrett and I are gonna go together and then out. But we're also shuffling that way. So 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, reverse. Okay, okay, so everybody find their partner, and it's okay if you only have 1 ball, but let's see everybody patty cake. Find a spot where you're not gonna run into people, and give me your patty cake. Off you go. What's a variation of together, forward, together, forward?
I have no idea. Hop on one leg and do the same.
That would be difficult. How about something with your hands, a variation with your hands? Okay, so how about clap together, clap up? Okay, ready everybody? Go. Clap together, clap up. All right. All right, ladies, give me another variation. Okay, how about this one? Yeah, so tap, tap, clap, clap. All right, ready? Go. Tap, tap, clap, clap. Hear all the laughter?
Yep,
There's lots of smiles, lots of laughter, everybody's moving. And again, that's complex coordination. The reason I didn't do the one-legged thing was because that also is working on footwork for tennis, where your feet are always coming together like this and you're not crossing. So the kids are learning footwork from tennis at the same time that they're working on their hand-eye coordination. Okay, so an ABC, does that make sense to everybody? How to start a class with ABCs. Online, once you guys are all Safe Play certified, there's millions of these ideas online through the Net Generation app. So what I would make sure you guys do is before you step foot on the court, 5 minutes online, and they'll give you a billion of these ideas so that you're not doing the same ones every single time when you come out. What I always see a lot of with junior tennis pros is everyone comes out, okay, everybody do your ups. Okay, more your ups. Okay, everybody, your downs. And they do that every week, okay? And it gets really boring for the kids. So make sure that you as the instructor give it 10 minutes of thought before you step on the court and come up with new ideas.
ABC is also good too when kids are running late and they can just jump on the court and jump right into it too.
Okay, so every lesson would start with ABCs. Then we're gonna go into a progression. And each day the progression could be a forehand progression, it could be a volley progression, a serve progression. But the most important word to remember is progression. That we're gonna start with something we know everybody can do, then we add on to it, and then we get to a point where we think, it's kind of falling apart. And that's where you stop for the day. At that point, maybe only 50% of the kids can actually do what you're asking them to do. But at the beginning, 100% of the kids could do what you wanted, All right. What group, how old is everyone going to be teaching? Middle school, high school? Okay. All right. So the kids are going to have a decent amount of hand-eye coordination, but still probably not as good as you want. So just to make sure we get some building blocks in, we're going to continue with partnering before we move into a ground stroke progression. So really quick, the kids have to learn how to toss the ball and feed to each other. And they've got to learn how to do that with their dorky hand, okay? Because your racket's always in your dominant hand. And so you've got to learn how to toss with your non-dominant hand, and I just call that the dorky hand, okay? So we're going to toss to each other real quick. Go ahead and put your ball in your pocket. So we're going to teach the kids how to toss where it bounces and catches, and the goal is for it to be about the height of your partner. My hand's facing up. I'm going to toss it so it looks like a rainbow. Good. See if you can catch with your non-dominant hand. Just toss and catch. Perfect. So I'm demonstrating. I'm showing how I'm not doing this, okay? I'm lifting each time. All right.
How high do you want the ball to go again?
As high as your partner's shoulder, okay? You'll see some kids are really timid and they'll go like this, okay? So again, some cues are a rainbow toss or a McDonald's toss, but the idea is they've got to be able to do this or you're going to be stuck feeding them the whole time. If they can't feed each other, then you're stuck. So we're going to find new partners. Find somebody with the same color shirt as you to be your partner. Once you're partnered, raise your hands so anyone who's not raising their hands, we can see.
Perfect. Toe to toe.
With your partner, give me 10 rainbow tosses. 6 feet away from each other. Tossing with your non-dominant hand. How's baby coming along? No, that's all right. We will be partners. You ready? Here we go. Oh. All right, perfect. That seems really obvious, you guys, but it's not. Learning how to feed to your partner is not, it's not an obvious thing. So we're really practicing with these cue words, okay? Because again, in a minute, you're going to be tossing to hit to each other, and if someone's doing this, it's never going to work, okay? Okay, so we're going to go into a ground stroke progression. I'm going to do probably 10 things. In any of your lessons, it would be maybe 2 or 3 of these things. The grip. If a lot of you are junior players and you hit with a semi-western, do not demonstrate anything you do in a semi-western for these kids, okay? So, hand on the strings, slide it down. That's basically the Eastern grip. That's what I want them in. No semi-westerns. Okay, so here we go. Eastern grip. Everyone get a ball. Does everyone have a ball? Okay. First thing we want to learn about a ground stroke in tennis is that you use both sides of your racket. So ball on the ground, feet apart, push the ball back and forth using both sides of your racket. As the instructor, I demonstrate and then I wander to make sure everyone's got it. Perfect. Okay, so the kids have learned to use both sides of the racket. Racket head is down. All right. Next thing with your partner, I'm going to send the ball to my partner, but as I send it to him, I must be turned sideways. When he receives it, he must be sideways. And sends it back, and I turn sideways and send it back. Turn, push. Okay, everybody do that with their partner. Make sure your body's turning sideways. Whoops. Let's make sure now when you're doing it that the ball never gets past your front foot. So you must stop the ball off of your front foot. Don't let it get between your legs. Go again. Go faster with your partner. And make sure that you're turning sideways and keeping the ball out on the front foot. Good. Okay, hold up. What do you do if a ball's coming right between your legs? pivot. Quickly choose what you want. You guys are a lot younger than me, but I was taught tennis, the first thing that you do is take the racket back. That's what we don't want to teach anymore because I'm fully capable of taking the racket back and having my body be facing forward, which is not what I want. So instead of teaching the kids to take the racket back, the first thing you teach them is when you see what ball you want, a forehand or backhand, you give me a trunk turn, okay? So now I want you to aim right between your partner's legs, but the partner each time has to trunk turn and get out of the way, and then recover back to the middle before the next shot. Does that make sense? So here we go, same thing, but okay, so we have learned a forehand and a backhand already. We've learned the racket head is down, the body turns sideways, feet contact point is off the front foot. We've learned how to tell the ball to go straight ahead without whipping it, okay? I didn't tell you not to use your wrists, but you would have figured it out pretty quick. If you were flipping your wrists, the ball wasn't gonna go straight to your partner. So the kids have learned extension already. So you've learned 5 really important things about the forehand and the backhand already. Does that make sense to everybody? It wasn't from me tossing the ball to you and saying, turn your body, drop the racket head, reach forward, extend, finish across your shoulders. That's nuts, okay? That's way too many things for anyone to process. So instead, you just learned how to do it in partners, 50 of you all at once, okay? All right, we're gonna move into what I call the 5 ball controls. And we're gonna spread out and do this live in a second. There's 5 ways you can tell the ball what to do. The first is telling it to go left or right. In tennis, that's cross court or down the line. You've got to be able to tell the ball cross court or down the line before you move on to the next ball control. The one after that, and I'll go through all 5 of them and then we're going to demonstrate it. The one after that is short and deep. Okay, the third one is high and low. The fourth one is speed. And the 5th one is spin. So again, as the instructor, you shouldn't be feeding balls with this big whippy topspin because that is not the way that kids should be learning. They should be learning a low to high swing, but they should be concentrating first on whatever ball control you're working on that day. Okay, so one more thing with your partner. We're gonna work on the concept of cross court and down the line. You're gonna be my partner. Do you have a ball? No. Oh, let me get a ball. Can I borrow your ball? Okay, so right now on the ground, we're gonna send the ball only cross court to each other. Okay, so here we go, cross court. And you gotta call it out, cross court. Cross court. Cross court. Cross court. Okay, what if we go backhands cross court? Backhand. Backhand cross court. Cross court. Oh, sorry, cross court. Here we go. Okay, cross court. Now, what if we were gonna do down the line? My forehand to your backhand. Down the line. Down the line. Down the line. Okay, and the last progression of this is where I can choose what I want, but I have to say what I'm trying to do. Because every time I send the ball out, I have to have intent. I can't just hit the ball and be happy it went over. There's got to be a target for every ball. So you can do whatever you want, I can do whatever I want, but we have to call it out. Okay, ready? Cross court. Down the line. Cross court. Cross court. Cross court. Oh, maybe not. Here we go. Down the line. Watch how much footwork as I'm doing. I'm doing 6, 7, 8 steps between every ball. Got it? Okay, with your partners, cross courts for like 10, 15 seconds, down the lines, and then it's kind of fun, isn't it?
I never had that much power.
There you go, yeah. I like that because again, you're controlling the ball and you're learning a ton about how to tell the ball where to go. And right off the bat, again, you get rid of the whole wrist action. Okay, so as you are not looking into the sun, as I come over here, there's a lot of in-between steps, but I'm going to kind of keep it moving, so especially if you're with junior high and high school kids. So if I said today we're doing forehands, but it's early in the season, then we would want to be working on cross court and down the line forehands. If you only have a couple kids and you could put them in 2 lines and feed 2 lines and have them practice cross courts and down the lines while you're feeding, I'm okay with that, as long as you don't ever stop to correct one kid. Okay? If you're feeding, you give the whole group something to correct, and then you feed quickly. I'm like, feed, 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 feed. I'm not even looking where you're doing it. I'm letting you try and figure it out for yourself. I'm vaguely figuring out that no one is hitting the ball out in front of them. So now I go, okay, everybody, I need you to work on your contact point. I'm never, ever, ever stopping and making 6 people listen to what you did wrong, which is embarrassing to you, and it's really slow. Okay? So if you're feeding, it's group corrections after they've had a chance to hit 20, 30 balls each. Okay? Now we're going to go into what we call, that's dead ball. If I'm feeding to you, that's called dead ball. But the problem with tennis is that you rarely get the perfect feed. My son used to be pissed when we'd go out and practice together because I'd give him such bad feeds. Okay? Well, you know, no one's trying to give you the right ball when you're playing. So we've got to learn how to do it live ball, which is the reality. So we're going to spread out. Let's do a new partnership. Garrett, where are you? There. Call out a partnership.
Same birthday month.
Okay, someone who's born the same month as you, find them for your partner. People per court. So you're going to have 2 here, 2 on that side, 2 over there, and 2 on that side. You're playing with the person diagonal. This is where learning how to toss became important. So watch out, boys. So Garrett's my partner, he's over there. Oh, Garrett's a lefty, that's fine. We like him anyways. Okay, so here we go. With my non-dominant hand, I'm learning to toss to Garrett, and he's gonna hit it back to me. All right, here we go. And here we go. Toss, so we're working on cross courts. His happens to be an inside out, so he's actually gotta work a backhand. Here we go. Already I've done a couple things wrong. What was missing on my shots? Yeah, no footwork, 0 footwork. If Garrett hits me a pretty hard ball, I've got to back up so that every time I hit, I'm on the front point. You're trying to create one stroke that you don't have to have 19 different strokes. It's the same stroke each time. So I back up and then I hit it. Okay? So with your partner, 4 people spread out. It might take 2 or 3 courts over there. You must start with a toss. The other people will be working backhands. In tennis, there's something called System 5. System 5 means that there's a distance of 0 to 5 on the court. The closer you are to the net, the shorter your backswing and the shorter your forward swing. Think of a volley. Very little backswing, very little forward swing. If you're standing here, you should not be doing a full backswing and a full follow through. Okay? This is more, that would be a 5 to 5. A volley is a 1 to 1. So right here, you should be doing like a 3 to 3. Okay? So a little bit of a backswing and a little bit of a follow through. Do not teach the kids to rip it topspin right now. This is about ball control number 1, which is learning how to tell the ball cross court. Okay, so try it again without the big whippy swings. Here we go. The last progression, so you would work cross-court forehands, down the line forehands, cross-court backhands, down the line backhands. When you get to where everyone can do that pretty well, the big finale on this is what I call the butterfly, okay? So the 4 of you are a team, and this on this side here, so that side over there is going cross-court. You guys over there are going down the line. So the ball should go cross-court, down the line, cross-court, down the line. And see if you can keep one ball going between the 4 of you. All right? Try it, go for it. Kids, but if they can't do it from the service line, then there's no way they can do it from the baseline. Okay? So start them here. If they can get 6 or 8 shots in a row, then take 2 steps back and 2 steps back. Okay? How do you teach the kids not to have the ball go too far? What words would you use to get that ball to not go so far? Any ideas? Okay, great, yeah, a couple things. So one is the higher the ball is over the net, the deeper it's gonna go. So if you have a kid who's sending it to the baseline, give them a new positive target. Tell them instead of having the ball cross the net here, you want them to have the ball cross the net there. Never ever teach a kid to have the ball across the net lower than one racket's height. So right through there. Another thing is don't death grip the racket. Soft hands. So if they have soft hands and they're barely holding the racket, the ball's not going to go that far. Okay, every progression, and again, that was 9 progressions, so that might be a couple weeks, okay? Every progression at the end of each segment of your lesson ends with 2 kinds of games, okay? The first is a cooperative game. So give me 2 over there, 2 here, 2 over there, 2 over there. You and your partner, you're a foursome, okay? You get 3 balls. And each time you put the ball to the right spot, this side is cross court, that side's down the line. As soon as somebody doesn't, so you count, 1, 2, 3, we missed. When you do the next ball, 4, 5, 6, 7, we missed. Okay, so at the end of 3 balls, we'll see how many you got. So give me 2 over there, 2 here, 2 over there, 2 here, 2 over there, 2 there. So there's just 4 per court right now. 3 balls per foursome. At the service line. At the service line. Who's over here? Yeah, you guys, if you want to be a good teammate, go join Lindsay. Here you go. Lindsay starts it out. This side is cross court. Over there is down the line. Ready? Go. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm making no corrections now because we're past that point. This is all about the game. Somebody missed, so we can, here we go, miss. Okay, perfect, down to ball number 2. So what was that, was that 9? 11 here, next ball. Keep going. So you got 12, 13. Okay, next ball, last ball, 13, 14, 15. Somebody miss? 16, 17, 18, they're still going. You guys still going down there? Okay, stop pretending they missed because your juniors are not going to get past 4. Okay, so we are working together as a team. This becomes a game when I tell you to do it again and beat your own score. We're not going to do that, okay? But that's how it becomes a game. It's a game, it's a cooperative game because you're all working together. So we did it once, and now we're beating our own score, okay? After we've done that 2 or 3 times, now we go into the competitive game. Now it's each court against the other court. All right, you guys ready? You get 2 balls, and as soon as if you make a mistake, but I'm adding a rule. If I see anybody hit off their back foot, that's a mistake and your point is done. If the ball's coming deep, I want to see you trunk turn, back up, contact on the front foot. Got it? If your ball goes past the service line and they had to volley it, that is also a mistake. Okay, you guys be the judges and watch that court. You guys watch this court. We'll watch this court. 2 balls per court. Which court wins? Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Much better footwork. Thanks, you guys. Okay, good. You're at 7. Here we go. Second ball. 8, 9. Step, foot, feet, feet, feet. 10, 11, 12, 13, barely. 14. Oh, it's past the service line. They're out. They got 14. What are you guys at? 16. What do we have down there? 18. Good job. So again, cooperative game, competitive game. It's okay to have losers because in tennis, half the people playing lose. If you have a tennis tournament with 64 players, 63 people end the tournament with a loss, right? So you got to learn how to lose. But you also have to learn to take that loss and do it better. So I would make sure I would do the game a couple times. I would also make sure Lindsay is the weak link on this court, okay? And everybody knows it after about 5 minutes, including Lindsay. So I make sure that I rotate the kids. We do what we call big circle or little circle. Big circle is this whole 3 courts. Everyone's going to move 1 spot to their right. Okay, so everybody show me 1 spot, big circle. If you're at the end, it's fence, go around. Okay? Lots and lots of rotations so that the kid who's not so great doesn't have to be with anyone very long. That's a big circle. Little circle rotation is just on your court. In this drill, we would want to make sure we do a couple little circle rotations because he's stuck with the backhand cross court. That's rough. So you want to make sure maybe we do 4 little court rotations so that everybody gets a backhand cross court, forehand cross court, backhand down the line, forehand down the line. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, come back in, everybody in a big group. Not yelling. We're going to talk through what other progressions would look like, but then I'm going to go into the serve. Okay, so we learned, does that make sense to you guys, the progression that we just did there on the ground strokes? So once we know how to control the ball left and right, we would go into a short and deep progression, which we're not going to actually do, but I'll talk through it. So teaching the kids to recognize when a ball has been hit short to them and when a ball has been hit deep. A mistake in tennis is not just when the ball hits the net or long. A mistake in tennis is when you allow your opponent to go on offense. So if you've hit the ball short, you allow them to go on offense. So we would do drills where they're hitting straight across and they're calling out short or deep. How do you teach the kids to get the ball deeper? We just talked about it a second ago. Higher over the net. Not a faster swing. Higher arc over the net. That's where now the low to high swing is going to start happening naturally. Because as you scoot them back and they want to get the ball deep, they've got to start doing more of a low to high. Now they can do the full swing. So doing progressions, working on short and deep. Adding into that if your partner across from you hits the ball in front of the service line, you must hit it and come to the net. Okay? Teaching them that was a mistake. You allowed your opponent to come to the net. Keep the ball deep. Okay, so that's the short, deep concept. High, low. All right? What do you do when you get a high ball? How do you prep for a high ball? Yeah. Yeah, so she did the right thing. So she went like this, okay? So a high ball is not this. A high ball is still the first thing we learned, which is trunk turn. And now we prep high and go straight through. So learning, like one side could be hitting the ball high, the other side hits it normal. So learning high and low, okay? If they got that down, which will never happen by the end of any time, but then you could go into speed, all right? Speed would mean in 1 minute, how many balls can you guys get back and forth without missing? All right, if you can hit 10, that's fine. And then if you can hit a little harder and get 12, but you can only do that if you can keep them in play. So that's when you get to the speed, and then the spin would be the last one, working top spin and slice. Okay, so there's your 5 progressions of a ground stroke. 5 ball controls. The volley is the same thing, okay? First, you're learning volley without a step. Add the step. Add the backhand step. Forehand and backhand. Deep and short. High and low. Diagonal and down the line. Okay, so it's not just like today I've got the kids and we're doing volleys. What kind of volleys are you teaching them today? Are you teaching them deep volleys or are you teaching them angle volleys? Does that make sense? So every stroke has a progression, a cooperative game, competitive game, and then a fresh start. Okay? I'm not going to do it to you guys because there's too many of you, but remember when it's time to pick up balls, that you should be picking up balls with them, and you should always give them a time limit or a number of balls they have to pick up. So everybody, if you think there's enough balls for everybody to get 6 balls, then you tell everybody to get 10 balls to guarantee all the balls are up. There's nothing that makes a parent more angry than watching ball pickup take 20 minutes and shooting baskets and hitting. So when it's time to pick up, you do it, and it should take under a minute every time it's time to get balls up. All right, we're going to go into the serve progression because I think this one's pretty different than the way most of you have probably learned. In a minute, we'll spread out toe-to-toe with whoever you want. Find a new partner, toe-to-toe with whoever you want. Hey, everybody watching Linz and I, hold on, you guys, scoot over this way. Okay, First progression on the serve, go ahead and put your racket down for a minute. First progression on the serve is actually just throwing the ball. Okay? And we're going to go through all these. I'll call them out when we spread out, but just so you can see them first. First progression is throwing the ball. What have we learned about the serve? Okay, we've learned like 5 things about the serve just by throwing the ball. Body turned sideways. Elbow came back high. We stepped forward and we threw. In other words, our weight transfer went onto the front foot. Is Lindsay throwing the ball up or down? Up. When you hit the ball on your serve, should you be hitting down on the ball or up on the ball? Up. How tall do you have to be before how tall are you? How tall do you have to be before you can hit down on the serve? 6'8". I'm actually lying. I don't know if it's 6'7" or 6'8". I can't remember. It's one of those two, so that was perfect. So if you are shorter than him, you have to hit up on the serve. Okay? So in a second, we're going to spread out. Lindsay, do you have the ball? Did I? Okay, so the next progression, and I'll call these all out. But the next progression is, I'm going to stand here. My elbow's high. I'm not scratching my back. I'm patting my head. It does not make any difference on the serve. If I go like this, okay, it makes no difference as long as I get to this point. That's why you see some pros just go right there and others go down and around. Makes no difference. But this is what you're looking for, is this spot right here. So I'm going to stand close to the net, toss, and just hit it. Then I scoot back. Lindsay grabs her racket, and she does the same. Okay? So spread out with your partner, and we're going to do those 2 first progressions, and then I'll add on to it. The first is just tossing. And you can have like 6 or 8 per court. The first one's just tossing, 6 or 8 people per court. On to the progression I showed you where the one person's at the net, they toss and tap. Toss and tap, then the other person catches and return and tosses and tap. Good. Remember to hit up on the ball, not down. Up on the ball. As soon as I started seeing you toss, I saw a lot of contact points here. On this drill, you're starting with your elbow back, so that guarantees I can see you reach all the way up. Give me 5 more where I want to see full extension of that arm on contact. Full extension of the arm on contact. Okay, what's the most important shot in tennis? Return. Return of serve. And we never practice it. Okay, it's the most important shot. So now you and your partner, you're going to toss, same thing, and you can take 3 or 4 steps back from the net. You're going to tap the serve, and they're going to return it back to you. You'll do 5, they do 5. With each one that you get over, take a step back. Work yourself back. All right? 5 serves, 5 returns. Good, and so she's return it. Remember, the return should be gentle so that your partner can catch the ball. To that. Serve, return, +1. That's the next most important shot. Majority of tennis points end in under 4 shots. So you need to practice the first 4 shots. Serve, I want to see the returner using their feet to step forward, and I want to see that server coming down and getting the next shot. And then that'll send it right over to the other person to serve. Serve, return, +1. Go. Serve, return, +1. Perfect, and stop. Here's the ball. Serve, return, +1, stop. Perfect. Again, I'm not stuck behind a basket. I don't have 40 people at a line coming up and hitting 1 serve and going to the end of the line. And also when you do that with the basket, it's pretty quick to get brainless, okay? Whereas this, you know if you're not doing it right because your partner couldn't get to the ball. So you have a little bit of pressure and pressure is important to learn how to under pressure, because then I've got to really make sure I'm doing it right so that you get to hit the next ball. Whereas if I stood at the baseline and just whacked serve all day, it doesn't really help. How many of you guys play a musical instrument? Quite a few? Okay, so I played piano for a really long time, and I could hear my mom in the next room going, Lori, I hope that's not the song that's in the recital next week, because there'd be that one measure where I could play most of the song, but I'd get to the one measure that terrified me, and I would kind of skip over it, you know, and then move on to the part that I liked. Well, when you play a tennis match, that one measure is what takes you down, okay? If your opponent figures out she does not know how to hit a high backhand, all right, then that's what you're gonna see all day long. So the practice has gotta be when you put in the games at the end, it adds that sense of pressure. So they see, can you really do this? Can you really make the forehand go cross court? Can you really make the serve go serve out wide? Okay, so the games at the end add the pressure you need to make sure that when you were practicing, you were really focused on practicing the right skill. So you think about progression. We were serving straight ahead, that's totally fine. But obviously as you progress on the serve, serving cross court, adding a return cross court, okay? Adding a third shot. That could be your cooperative game. You and your partner have 3 minutes to see how many times you can complete that set. Serve, return, +1, catch. Serve, return, +1, catch. Each time you get all 3 shots, you and your partner get a point. Okay? Then the same thing, do it against the other team, right? You got 5 minutes, first team to get to 10 wins. So same exact skill is now a game. Does that make sense to everybody? So the games aren't silly. The games in the middle of a progression are a game, but they're still focused on whatever you were learning that day. So you've done your ABC, progression, cooperative, competitive game, probably 2 cycles of that in any hour lesson, hour and 15 minutes. But now you need to have the big finale, which gets the kids coming back, okay? The big finale can be a stupid game, as long as everyone's having fun. All right, Garrett, you want to pick a finale game? Yeah, well, I got maybe add-on. Okay, we're going to do a game called add-on. I'm going to show you guys how to do it, and then we're going to split onto just these 3 courts. So give me 6 people over there in one line, 6 people over here in one line. One line at the center marker. I think we can do California Kill, couldn't we? No? Okay, you guys are gonna play out a point, a singles point only. Okay, singles court only. Here we go, play it out. Just the 2 of you. Okay, I never make them miss the feed. If you miss the feed, you always get to go again. Here we go, play out the whole point. Okay, that was out. So if you miss, you go to the end of your line. If you won the point, you add a partner. So now you have 2 people on your team. Here we go. Okay, you guys add 3 now. Switch, new person. Here we go. And you can put people at the net. So you're dead. You add a person, 2 and 2, spread out wherever you guys want to go. Here we go, 2 and 2. This is called add-on. She's dead because we're playing singles court only. She's dead. Add a player, 3. Okay, everyone get the idea? As soon as your team gets everybody out on the court and you win the next point, you win the game. Okay? So I think we can probably let's play 3 courts of this real quick. That game is really fun. I like add-on a lot. Make sure that if you're the coach that you're loud, you're creating energy on the court, You're feeding frequently and quickly, and you're making sure you feed to lots of different people, okay? Because in that game, if you're the one that doesn't make a mistake, you get to be on the whole time. So make sure I always feed to the side that has the less number of people, or the team that keeps losing the people, so that they all get a chance to hit, okay? So that's a good group finale game. Around the World, you guys should all know, is always a good game. Do you guys know jail or gotcha? Okay. My story about jail and gotcha is it's every kid's favorite game. And if you're doing junior high and high school, I don't know that that necessarily changes, because you can add rules to make it harder. But never let the kids tell you when you're going to play gotcha. Okay? So if you come out and you haven't thought of what you want to do, and some kids like, can we play gotcha? And you haven't figured out what you're doing for the day, so you're like, okay, that'll buy me 10 minutes to figure out what I really want to do. You're in deep trouble. Okay? Because you just let them have dessert before you had vegetables and all the other stuff. Okay? So don't give away the finale game early in the lesson. That's something they earn. And a lot of times if a kid says to me, can we play gotcha? I'll be like, you know what? We can totally play gotcha as long as nobody on the court asks me about it again until I say it's time to play. And then there's some pretty good peer pressure for everyone to zip it so that we all get to play gotcha at the end. Okay? There's a million games. They don't have to have any purpose. They're all just to get people laughing. But if they don't have any purpose, everyone know the game Alligator? Okay, Alligator's really stupid, particularly when you have the kids laying on the ground trying to hit the ball off the ground. I had a mom really mad at me for playing Alligator one time because she said, that's the stupidest game I've ever seen. When would you ever be lying on your back in tennis and hitting the ball? And I was like, never. That's what makes it so funny. And that's why the kids are all laughing. But if you're going to do a game that has no purpose, make sure you say it loudly for all the parents that are watching. This game's so stupid, but it's really fun. So that everybody knows why you're playing this game.
And don't play it every week.
Yeah. I'm not a big advocate for any game where a pro is hitting balls at kids as they're running around the court. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen if the kids roll and trip their feet. So please don't do Terminator. That one's really hard to explain to a parent that their kid broke their wrist because you were beaming balls at them while they were running around the court. Okay, so please don't play games. Butts Up is hilarious. Maybe for your high school team when there's no mom or dad around. Do you guys know Butts Up? Butts Up is basically you do whatever it is and the loser goes like this and the server gets to serve and try and hit them in the butt. Okay, very, very funny, very problematic to explain to a parent. All right, so don't do Butts Up. It's what? It's a generational game. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, come in closer so I can see and hear you. That's kind of, again, this was an hour and a half of like 10 hours of stuff combined into an hour and a half. Let's go over real quick. How do you start a class? Which stands for? Got it. What do you guys think of that? Like that? Okay. Remember, mix it up. Do something different every time. ABCs, followed by pick a stroke, do 3 or 4 progressions, and then end with what kind of game first? Cooperative game. And anything is a game if you count it or time it. You have 2 minutes to do this. You have 3 balls to get to 10. Anything you do, if you count or time it, it becomes a game. Okay? Cooperative game, followed by what kind of game? Competitive. Drink. Next session, same exact thing, 30 minutes or so. So everything you did was 3-4 minutes. So you're never standing behind a basket feeding 5 baskets of forehands to the kids for an hour. Okay? And then you finish with a big finale silly game. 5 minutes? How long are your lessons? Hour and a half. So I would probably do
3 skills.
Yeah, 3 skills, or like 2 or 3 pods. Each pod's 30 minutes. Each pod's 20, 25 minutes, and then you have a 5 to 10 minute game at the end. Yeah. So to me, that makes it a lot better for me as the coach. I don't come out in the court and go, oh my God, I've got these kids for an hour and a half. You know. How many times today were you? How many times were you standing in line to hit a ball? Yeah, only the finale game. Other than that, everybody was hitting, right? Everybody was always engaged. So that's really important too. If you are going to do lines, if you have 6 kids, that's 3 lines of 2. Okay, it's never 1 line of 6. If you have 8,
You have games going almost the whole entire time, the whole entire practice.
do I have games going?
Do you have some sort of game going almost continuously during
Not
the
when you're doing
practice?
the progression.
Not during the progression. Yeah, the progression's skill-based. So the progression is, but it ends with a game. But like, you've got to practice the skill before you have the recital. So it's got to be, I got to learn how to hit a cross-court forehand.
Serve. You do the serve thing, and then you make that into a game. We got to turn that into 5 serves you got to get in.
So you practice it a few times before you do the game?
Yeah, yeah. So you've got to teach the skill. So like, if our skill is down the line backhands, we've got to practice that with our partner down the lines until we've done it a few times, and then we do a game counting and competing. So you've got to introduce the dead ball or the execution of the shot before you turn it into a game. Okay. Any questions, you guys? We're gonna do red ball for like 20-30 minutes. The littlest kids.
That Jen from UST, is that
Let's welcome our Bulldogs
Yeah.
back onto the field.
Yeah. Netgeneration.com. Yeah. Questions? Yeah. Oh, question.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if you have varying abilities, sometimes kids like don't do what you say, and they kind of do their own thing, which is fine if it's one kid, but sometimes other kids think like, well, I'm too good for this drill too.
Well,
Is
and
there anything like you'd say like, you just let them do it and then move on to the next thing? It's fast enough.
Well, and that's where if you have if you're working on a skill, like I need you guys to be able to hit 5 balls back and forth from the service line, and if you can do that, then you each get to take 2 steps back. So you might have 2 kids who are stuck at the service line for 6-7 minutes, while these kids have worked their way back. So they're all doing, they can, if they're really good at it, they can progress on the court while the other kids are still working on wherever they're stuck. So that's how you can.
Those kids will like see that and be like, oh yeah, we'll move back too. So I guess at some point you just kind of say, okay, we'll just move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
wanna be too
That's why you're always switching the drill up. Another part we talked about, the partners, that's when you want to switch so that one kid's not always stuck with the kid that's bringing everyone down.
Yeah, rotating quickly is really important.
So if we have very people that have never played and some that have been playing for a while, are we still doing the lesson for everybody the whole time, like keep everybody together, or do we split them into those who've never really played?
Do you have an
versus those
assistant
who have
coach or
played?
just one coach?
I do have an assistant.
So you can do that. You can break into groups that way. If you have an assistant, if it's
Yeah.
just you though, then you got to keep them doing the same thing.
Yeah, I use another story about my son. So like I would go out and hit with my son baseline to base, and my son's a very good player, but we go out to the baseline and it looks like he kind of knows what he's doing because we're like just hitting the balls and they're going hard and fast. But then I'd be like, Charlie, let's go cross court forehands. And then suddenly like it's apparent that he doesn't really have any idea what's coming off his racket. He might be able to get the ball on the court, but he's not having intent with every shot. And so if you've got the kids that have never played before, maybe it could be just fine. Give me 5 balls over the net. But the kids who've played before, give them a target. Okay, you've got to hit the ball across court. You got to hit the ball past the service line, because they may be hot shots in their brain because they've done this. But as soon as you give them a target, it'll come really clear that they have no idea how to make the ball go where you're telling it to go. And most kids, my guess is that most kids, I bet 80% of the kids have no idea what's coming off their racket, and have no idea where the ball's going before they hit it. Would you agree? Yeah. So, any other more questions? Yeah.
This is very important to me. You guys are the beginner teaching lessons to all these kids, okay? If they had a poor experience with you, they're probably never going to play the sport again. So we can never thank you guys enough for bringing energy to the sport. What Rob has done is incredible. Tennis is thriving right now, especially in Utah. So keep up the energy, make sure it's fun. If you show up to the court, you're not having fun, guess what? Those kids are not going to have fun. Talk to Megan, talk to Rob, talk to us. We want to make sure you guys are having a fun time with this experience, because that feeds upon these kids, and that's important for our sport to grow.
Yes. Yeah.
How much is a UST membership for these kids?
Kids are free.
Free.
Kids are free now.
Free.
Yep.
Free. So how do we sign them up?
Yeah, netgeneration.com is where. Netgeneration.com is all kid things USTA. So they can
Get a
register for
shirt
free.
and a magazine.
I
don't
don't
know.
think that is included. There might be a digital version probably that they
Use the
send the kids.
magazine. Do they get a shirt?
I don't think they get a shirt. But yeah, and also just USTA.com. You can just go to membership. So all junior memberships are free,
Yep.
which is great. And then also for you guys, I'm always happy to help you. So if you feel like I've got a lesson tomorrow and I honestly am completely out of ideas, call me. I love doing this. So I love giving people ideas of what to do because it's hard. It's really tough to stay motivated and come up with new ideas. So be sure to reach out to me.
Yep. Good. Okay, let's hear it for Lauren Garrett.
Yeah.